Steve Sarkisian said something at his press conference today that really bothered me. It shouldn't have, but it did. We'll get to that in a second. What's up, guys? BK Brad Kellner. Today is Thursday, November 4th, 2021. Talking Texas football here on the channel. This channel is all about Texas Longhorn sports. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Talking Texas football, Texas basketball, Texas baseball, and everything else going on around the 40 acres. So please subscribe to this channel. Tap the notification bell if you haven't done that. And if you'd be so kind, please like this video as well. A lot of Texas football happenings this week on the 40. It's been a tumultuous couple of days since the Longhorns blew their third straight double-digit second-half lead against Baylor this past Saturday. Of course, the Longhorns getting set for another game 2 days from now, this Saturday in Ames against Iowa State, potentially the Longhorns' last ever trip to Jack Trice Stadium. Of course, no one's exactly sure when Texas and Oklahoma are departing the Big 12 for the SEC, but there's definitely a chance this is Texas's last ever trip, or at least last trip for the foreseeable future to Iowa State. The Longhorns trying to snap their 3-game losing streak. We'll talk more about the game itself in tomorrow's video. We'll go matchup by matchup and really preview Texas at Iowa State, what to expect from the Horns, what to expect from the Cyclones, and I'll give my prediction for Saturday's game in tomorrow's video. Today's video is going to be about the last couple of days with Texas football. And we're not going to talk too much about the pole assassin. We're not going to talk too much about Monkeygate, although I will read y'all what Steve Sarkisian had to say about that story at his press conference here in a couple of minutes. Pretty hilarious stuff. But we'll get into other takeaways from Sark's Thursday press conference, a rare Thursday press conference. He normally meets with the media every Monday on every game week. He did that this week, right? He met with the media on Monday to talk about the Baylor loss and start to look ahead to this Iowa State game, but he held another press conference today, a rare twofer for Steve Sarkisian during a game week in the middle of the season. Of course, the Joshua Moore report from Orange Bloods last night, we've got to talk about that too. But I teased it at the start of the video, so I'll get to it now. Steve Sarkisian said something during his presser today that really bothered me, and it probably shouldn't bother me, but it just does. And I know Sark saying what he said is kind of coach speak, and I know what he means by what he meant when he said it. I don't think that makes sense. I know what he meant when he said it, but here's what it was. Sark was asked about the frustrations going on within the Texas football program right now. And Steve Sarkisian said, quote, "I can assure you that nobody is more frustrated than we are. Nobody is more frustrated than our players are. That frustration is from how close we are," end quote. Every coach would say something like this when asked a question like that, right? Nobody cares about this more than us. Nobody wants to work harder to get this right more than we do. Nobody hates losing more than the guys in this locker room. Just, I don't think that's true right now with this Texas football program. And it's not Sark's fault, but man, I think the Texas fans and I think the Texas boosters are a little bit more frustrated than Steve Sarkisian and the players in that locker room right now. And that's not a shot at the players. That's not a shot at Sark or anything like that. But we're now on 12 years of mediocrity for Texas football, 12 years of non-refundable football, as I like to call it. The problems that have plagued this program have gone on much longer than just this season and much longer than anybody in that locker room has been in Austin. So I think the frustrations are more and stronger from the outside than they are for the inside right now. So that bothered me a little bit. Once again, every head coach would say something like that in that situation, so I can't be too upset with Steve Sarkisian. But my point is the external frustrations, I think, are more than the internal frustrations right now because, well, we're now on 3+ coaches of this. We're on multiple athletic directors. We're on countless coordinators and position coaches, and it's still the same problem with this Texas football program, still dealing with mediocrity now into year 12. Yeah, the problem started in 2010, of course, at the end of the Mack Brown era, and they persisted through the Charlie Strong era and Tom Herman's tenure as well. And here we are in year 12 of this, dealing with it under Steve Sarkisian. Now, Sark, I'm sure he's frustrated. He should be frustrated. It's got to be annoying as hell, not only being 4-4, but being 4-4 the way the Longhorns are 4-4 with the way the last 3 games have gone. But, Sark's only been here for a few months. He hasn't dealt with this issue for a dozen years, like the fans have, like the boosters have. So I don't know. That rubbed me the wrong way. I'm probably overreacting there, but that was one of my takeaways from Steve Sarkisian's press conference. Another takeaway, Sark was asked, I think he's been asked this multiple times since taking the job right around New Year's last year. He was asked if the job was tougher than he thought it would be. He said, no, I knew what I signed up for. That's good. I hope he's right. I think he is right. I'm not closing the book on Sark despite these last 3 games. I'm not closing the book on Sark despite the 4-4 start to the season. And look, even if the Longhorns finish the year 6-6, I'm not going to be saying, oh, we got to get rid of Sark. We got to bring somebody else in. I'm going to give him some time to figure things out, bring in some of his own players, and try to right the ship. Because, once again, the problems have persisted for a long, long time. They don't fall all on Steve Sarkisian. Some of them do. He's not completely absolved of any of the blame here, but I still trust this guy. I still think he's going to be the guy to turn things around. Another big storyline from the Texas football program this week, there was a report from Anwar Richardson of Orange Bloods last night that said, let me find the exact quote. I should have liked this tweet. I should have been more prepared. I don't want to misquote Anwar's tweet because I like him and I like his work. He does a good job. Filibustering here. That's what we call it in the business. Here we go. 21 hours ago, 3:45 p.m. yesterday, the tweet went out. Quote, Texas football wide receiver Joshua Moore and Steve Sarkisian got into a heated exchange after practice on Wednesday, according to multiple sources. I was told Moore's future with the team is questionable. That tweet got sent out yesterday and created a lot of buzz around Longhorn Nation. Joshua Moore, the leading receiver on Texas last year. Joshua Moore has been this team's second best receiver since Jordan Whittington got hurt and broke his clavicle in the Oklahoma game. And Josh Moore has been in this program for a number of years. Now, this is not the first incident regarding Joshua Moore. A couple of years ago, I think in 2019, when Tom Herman was here, Joshua Moore was arrested for a weapons charge, and he was suspended from the team for a while. So not the first off-the-field headline that we've had involving Joshua Moore during his career on the 40 acres. But that was the report sent out by Anwar last night, and I thought it was interesting. But apparently all is good. Steve Sarkisian was asked about that report today, and here's his exact quote. No, he was getting coached, and that's what we do. I think sometimes people get the misconception that because I'm a player's coach that we don't coach hard. We have a very demanding staff. We coach hard. We believe in discipline. We believe in doing things the right way. And when things aren't going that way, we coach our guys. And so whichever one of you guys felt like it was important to report that, that's your bad, not ours, end quote. So Sark taking a little bit of shot at Orange Bloods with the end of that quote right there. So according to Steve Sarkisian, Joshua Moore was just being coached. Now, I know Orange Bloods has sources on the team. I know they don't make up their information. So somebody told Anwar that there was a heated exchange, a little bit of a back and forth between Sark and Joshua Moore. Sarkisian, though, today saying it was overblown. It's just coaching. So maybe both stories are true, right? Maybe there was a heated exchange between Joshua Moore and Steve Sarkisian, but maybe Sark is right that it was just him coaching up Joshua Moore a little bit. Regardless, Joshua Moore's playing. He's still on the team. He's playing this week. Sark said he's going to be available throughout the entirety of the game on Saturday against Iowa State. So no suspension, no punishment, at least not according to Steve Sarkisian. We'll see what happens on Saturday, right? If Joshua Moore doesn't start, if Joshua Moore doesn't play the first quarter or the first half against the Cyclones, then maybe there's some credence to Anwar's report. But that's what Sark had to say about Joshua Moore right now. He was just being coached. He's still on the team, and he is going to be available this Saturday. And look, as bad as Joshua Moore was this past Saturday with the 2 big drops, the fumble lost in the red zone, he's still one of the best receivers on this Texas football team. He really is. I mean, on the depth chart, Joshua Moore's backup is freshman Casey Kane or redshirt freshman Jaden Alexis. You haven't really seen a lot from those guys. I think Calvante Dixon is another one of those names on the depth chart as well at wide receiver for this team. Not a lot of proven experience there. So Joshua Moore has not had the most consistent Texas career. That goes without saying. That's both on and off the field. But he's still, outside of Xavier Worthy, is probably your best option at wide receiver right now. And that's very disappointing. You look at weaknesses on this Texas football team, and there are a lot. That's why this is a 500 ball club right now. Wide receiver depth wide receiver talent just not there right now. And that's not going to be there this year. Sark's going to have to address that problem in the offseason through recruiting and through the transfer portal. And that's, a problem that he's going to have to address in years to come. But probably good news that Joshua Moore is still on the team. I did see a funny tweet in response to Anwar's tweet where somebody said Joshua Moore tried to take his things out of his locker, but he dropped them. Thought that was pretty good. I thought that was pretty good right there. Obviously poking fun at what happened last week. So not a lot for Texas there on the outside. I think everybody knew when Jordan Whittington went down, this team was in a little bit of trouble. Hell, even when Jordan Whittington was there, we knew there wasn't a lot of wide receiver depth on this team. Once Whittington went down, we figured we might be in a little bit of trouble. And sure enough, that's come to fruition. And we've seen that play out over the last couple of games. Whittington not available this Saturday against Iowa State. So I wonder if you had more wide receiver depth and more wide receiver talent on this football team, if Joshua Moore would have been punished in some form or fashion. Maybe not kicked off the team, but like, hey, dude, you're suspended for a half. But because Texas is so short at that position and Sark knows that he needs to win some football games, maybe that's part of why he made the decision that he made. Another quote, maybe the thing that went viral, the most viral from today's Steve Sarkisian press conference. He was asked about Monkeygate. And he said it's not a distraction at all. He said it's a personal matter, and he doesn't discuss his coach's personal matters. I don't know how personal it is. Everybody in the entire world knows this story at this point, involving Jeff Banks, the pole assassin, and Monkeygate, if that's what we're calling this thing. Still one of the more bizarre stories in the sports world in 2021. Texas football has been a circus more often than not over the last 12 years, and now we have circus animals involved with Texas football. The jokes write themselves sometimes. So there you go. There's kind of an update, a rundown. I tried to combine those two words. It didn't work with everything that's gone on with Texas football. Once again, Sark having a press conference today. Pretty interesting. You usually don't see multiple pressers during any week, but especially the week of a game. But I guess Sark wanted to get out in front of some things, talk a little bit about Joshua Moore, give his thoughts on Monkeygate, and just preview this weekend's matchup against Iowa State. So we'll preview this weekend's matchup against Iowa State a little bit more in tomorrow's video. But there's the news for the day. Joshua Moore still on the team. No comment on Monkeygate. And Sark saying something that frustrated me that probably didn't. But look, I don't think I'm alone there. I think you guys are frustrated as hell. I would guess there are a lot of you who feel the same way, where you feel like you're more frustrated than the guys in that locker room. That's not saying those guys are quitting or they don't care or anything like that, but we've just been going through this longer than they have. So it's almost inevitable at this point. But Sark staying confident, saying he knew what he signed up for. And hopefully that remains the case. And hopefully the Longhorns can find a way to turn things around this weekend. 4 games to go. The Longhorns need to win 2 to get to a bowl game. Sucks that we're having this conversation again. But here we are. All right, that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like this video if you haven't yet. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. And you can listen to me on the radio in Houston, ESPN 97.5. The name of the show, The Wheelhouse, every weekday afternoon from 3 to 7 p.m. If you are outside the listening area, you can tune in online at ESPN975.com. Quick shout out to Last Stand Hats. They are the sponsor for today's video. You've seen the discount code scrolling across the bottom of your screen. BK10 at checkout, 10% off your purchase of any Last Stand hat. All right, thanks guys. Appreciate y'all watching. Appreciate the continued love and support. So until next time, y'all stay safe, y'all stay healthy, and hook 'em.